Today we have a special guest on the show. I'm so excited about this. Now, listen, he's a professional wrestling legend, Hall of Famer, and he started this entire new fitness system, transformational system called DDPY. Now, if you don't know who that is yet, you're about to meet him. More than anything, more than his work ethic, more than what he's done and his accolades, the great thing about this guy, he's an amazing family man. He's a true friend to every person that he meets. Who is he? Well, you're going to meet him right now. But I will tell you this, just a little secret. What you're about to feel is the bang. Let's go. Hey, man, it's so good to see you, bro. It's so good to see you.
What's up, bro?
You're so tall, man. Great to see you.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah,
You ready
let's
to
do this. Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Awesome. Yeah, man.
Well, of course, we'll shoot this up here.
Tell me about it. Tell me how you.
Well, we'll have the cameras going right there and get both of us there. We'll get the good shot of the diamond behind that.
Right.
Whenever we're doing like our cooking shows.
Yeah, what is this right here?
This is all cooking shows.
All set, right?
Underneath here is 6-burner stove, and you know we cook all our different meals here. Back here we're using
that right there. You got the.
Yeah, you know, got to keep when they made me buy that thing, friggin' the. Did you go and let's walk up the studio?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's go check it out.
Check it out. Watch out for this thing here.
What's the deal?
This right here is a TriCaster, so we get like 8 different cameras up there.
Right.
And we're shooting different shots and go to their camera 3, camera 2.
Now it's go through that.
Yeah, it's super awesome. Will's working on a video right now. You doing the Fabulous Facebook Friday? How's it looking?
It looks good, man.
Look good?
Awesome.
Really good.
Yeah.
You showed some of Arthur in there and some pictures and videos and stuff?
Yeah.
Really good.
Okay,
man.
cool.
The
I
place
look
looks
forward to
awesome.
seeing it.
Yeah, this place is great.
All right, so then we'll go into the next one. This is another edit bay. And we got 2 more guys working probably on AEW.
Yeah, so all the
what we're
wrestling
doing with
stuff
that.
in here, right?
Yeah, so, yeah, pretty much.
Oh, those look great.
Yeah,
Those
right.
look great. Yeah.
Stuff. We got Matt over there doing his thing.
So editing is like the bread and butter of this thing, as far as to show the story.
Right, because we create the stories. I help the one there that's taking the people through them, and then Steve has the crew put it down, and then Steve makes the magic happen, so you can.
That is the magic.
Literally see the stories
And feel it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, then you're a part of it.
Yeah. It is. It becomes your story, right? You bring everybody in.
And when we show people, well, if that guy can do it, well, surely I could.
And that's the deal, man.
So that's why everything's so strong.
Yeah, it is. It's great.
What's up?
Hey, man. Yeah, this is it right here.
Yeah, that magic, baby.
Oh, man. Wow.
That was when he actually
man.
signed a thing for a restaurant that I was running, PJ Bleachers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like 1988. Funny.
He, special man, bro.
Yep.
Yeah,
absolutely.
No doubt.
This right here is where we.
Dude, I love the table, man.
Yeah, that's sweet.
Just know that. Yeah, that is.
Yeah, I call this the Sons of Anarchy room. It had the big,
The big table, yeah, right.
Then all along we write all our goals. Larry rolls everything out for us, and now we got
Nice, man.
really strong marketing team and analytics, and so now it's like
Rock and roll. Really good.
all right,
Awesome,
bro.
man.
I appreciate it. I appreciate you coming
Awesome.
down.
No, yeah, for sure, bro. Always a pleasure.
All right, we good?
Let's do this. Yep. It's
DDP.
And on this show today, it's going to be transformational. You're going to learn all about DDPY, and you're going to feel the bang. Today's show is going to be great. I'm so pumped about it. I've got Diamond Dallas Page with me today. Now listen, about this guy, let me just tell you something, okay? World heavyweight champion in professional wrestling. They call him an icon. I think so. And a lot of people know him. I mention his name anywhere, and somebody that's watched wrestling once knows who this guy is. But more than that, he's come from that. And I want to tell a story today because it's amazing. He's come from that to make one of the best transformational fitness systems really in the world. Some people used to think it's yoga, but it's called DDPY. And this guy right here, more than that, more than anything I'm talking about, he's an amazing family man, and he's a true friend to everybody he meets. Diamond Dallas page.
That's a pretty damn good introduction there, Doc.
Hey, man, come on. You know, the one thing I love about you is, and I watch you, you know, it's like you see people, they talk, and especially somebody that's developed a certain level of success. I've seen a lot of guys, man. The one thing about you that I've learned and I've seen, everybody you touch, everybody you come in contact with, you have this ability to be their friend instantly, and you win them over, not by working something with somebody and having, you have this ability to gain someone's trust and to say and to speak into their life. And I think that's one of the greatest gifts that anybody could ever have.
I can remember when I was a kid, you know, and I mean, like in my late teens and early 20s, like businessmen would say, like, you're infectious. Like what your energy is infectious.
Right.
And then later on I would hear authentic.
That's it.
You know, and they both work for me. You know, you know, to me, I'm just being me all the time. For your show, I'll leave out all the F-bombs.
Appreciate that.
But everything else is me. You know, I do have the
We didn't even say that before we started. But
dude, one of the funniest stories ever, my niece, at the time she's 12, and she's going on, I'm in Jersey, and, you know, I've been with her whole life, you know, and she's like, we just left about 7 interviews I did, right? And she's sitting in the back, and I hear, Uncle Paige? I say, yeah, Lexi. She says, how come when you do radio shows that you don't say the F word? And I said, well, Lexi, I kind of have like an F-bomb meter.
Right.
And I don't use it on TV, and I don't use it on the radio. And she goes, fascinating.
With an F. Right. That was her F word.
Yeah, fascinating.
So talk to me about this, because this is really, you and I know each other for a long time. Different phases.
Yep.
And, you know, we have a commonality of someone we love very much, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes.
Oh, God, yeah.
Right? So mentor to me, friend to you, and in a lot of ways, just an amazing person. One thing I saw, though, in your path, is as you jumped into this fitness world, into DDPY, you never ever, like, you had this character of DDP that was positive, that had this energy that people were drawn to, right? So with someone like Dusty, and I just want to bring this in, what did you learn from him that carried not only into your wrestling character, but into Dallas? What would be the one takeaway? Because I know there's a lot, but what would be the one?
There's so many.
Right.
One of the biggest things I thought was really fascinating, and it taught me that I was on the right path, because people would say, man, how can you stay so positive? Because when I told Michael P.S. Hayes and Jimmy Jam Garvin, the fabulous Freebirds, both Hall of Famers, you know, when I told them that I was going to wrestle, they fell down laughing.
Yeah.
You know, laughing at me, but they didn't mean it like that. But it was funny. They thought it was a joke. Because it really, I was 35 and a half.
Right.
You know, but I had that power of my own brain. I own the 6-inch piece of real estate between my ears.
That's it.
I not only own my life, I own the story I tell myself. And sometimes it goes a little wacky and I got to pull it back in. But the one thing about Dusty, I can remember, because wrestling is a vicious world in the way that it's entertainment. It's not like if we're having a match, I can go out and just knock you out and win. Or you can just go out and knock me out and win.
Be over.
It's like, you're going over tonight, which means I got to lay down and let you beat me. Right. And then they beat me, and then they beat me. Like, how do you ever get people behind you if you don't win? People want to be around winners.
They do.
But they also want to be around people who work really hard, who come from the bottom, and then they slowly come up. It's like having a band you saw in college, and then as years go on, you know, they become Hootie and the Blowfish.
Right.
You know, Darius is a great human being. Darius Rucker from you know, Hootie and the Blowfish and rock country fame of being Darius Rucker. But we would talk about that, how people that, like, he's such an easy guy to get to know too, where when you get next to him, he appreciates those college kids. That's not my guy.
Right.
And for Dusty, he was one of those guys that I grew up watching and thinking, man, I love that guy. before I ever met him. When I shook his hand for the first time ever, there was a feeling of like, wow, like I really do know you. And it was powerful. And he took me under his wing, and he brought me into booking meetings, which means like you're laying out what the show's going to be like. He wanted my opinions, which meant a lot to me. I didn't realize how much heat it was really getting me with the boys. But can't handle the heat, get out of the kitchen.
That's right, that's right.
And I knew a lot of guys who were trying to stab him in the back, Dust, you know. And sometimes I would like go to him like, you know, on a pull-aside note, like, how can you stay so positive
all the time
through this negative energy? Like, and it was really like the saying, like, don't let them see you sweat.
That's it.
You know, like never, in our words, it would be never sell it.
Right.
You know, like don't, like, oh my God. It's like, no, you can say that inside, but don't say it out loud, you know, and stay positive and keep moving forward. Because he used to, like, when we shot shows that were live, they were live to tape, but they were live because that's
live.
What they saw.
Right.
They saw the live show. They didn't see an edited show.
No.
And he used to call it living on the edge of a lightning bolt. You know, he loved that energy that came off that. And I watched, Dusty as a dad, like with him and Cody and Teal, and he was there for everything because he wasn't for Dustin early on when he was a kid, only because he was on the road all the time.
That's right.
And he was too young and he didn't really realize. Today, you know, back before Dust, you know, had passed, him and Dustin are super tight, super tight.
They cleared all that up.
Oh yeah. And Dustin's like super class A individual, and so is Cody.
Yep,
you know,
they all are, man, every one of them.
They come from, you know, as he would say, they come from good loins.
The best. So you go through your career, and this is what I find interesting. Most athletes, okay, or entertainers or whoever, once they hit a peak and they're done or they retire, then that's it. And one thing about you is you came into the game at 35, which I've got mass respect for. I mean, that's everybody respects that, right? They always talk about it. That's your story.
Yeah.
And it's interesting how things are kind of set up in a way. That you come in there and you're like, were you at the age that you were when you won your first world heavyweight title?
And so people understand because
is
they
that
think,
the
it's
oldest
wrestling.
person ever?
Let me make it clear for people who are watching. Like, oh, it's wrestling. You won a world title. It's all fake.
Let me tell you something.
No, can't fake gravity. But when you get the world title, that's like getting the Oscar.
It is.
And that's like, and the U.S. title would be like getting an Emmy. You know, it means a lot because it means you're carrying the ball. It means you're bringing in huge ratings. I mean, all your stuff is selling because people, they're buying it because they believe in you. Right. And it just comes down to a character. It's just like movies. You know, it's a different form of entertainment. And, you know, the whole thing, like in the cowboy movies, the guy falls off the horse. It's predetermined. But the guy just fell off the horse.
For real.
And he knows how to fall to a certain degree, but he still fell off a horse. That was moving. You know, wrestling is just like that. Yeah. And so the first time that I was talking to Dusty one time, this is a super story, and I was complaining to him. He would let me vent to him about the business. And the booking committee, they write the stories. They pick where you are, how you're going to go. And I was just starting to get over with the diamond cutter and the finish and all that. And I said, I was really upset that night. And I was like, Dusty, I know I'm never going to be you or Rick or Hulk. I know I'm never going to be the world champion. But he went, Gareth, enough. And they're like, what?
Yeah, what?
He yelled at me, like, oh.
Yeah.
He said, what did you just say?
Yep.
And I was like, well, now I feel kind of stupid. I'm like, I know I'm never going to be you, Dust, you know, or Rick or Hulk. He goes, no, D, what did you say after that? And I said, well, they're never going to put the world title on me. Wow. He said, then what the hell are you doing it for? He said, Gareth, if you don't believe, as hard as you work, if you don't believe that you could be the heavyweight champion, you need to get the hell out of the business right now.
That's right.
And it was like he reached through the phone and he slapped me in the face. And he kept talking, and I can't tell you what.
And that's your message that you give to everybody else.
Yes.
That right there.
100%.
It's like he just threw that out of you and shook you.
But here's what really happened that was important. He felt like he slapped me in the face, and he kept talking, and I don't remember what he said. I couldn't tell you what he said, but I know exactly what I did. I grabbed that pad that was next to the phone with a pencil, and I wrote, "I will be the world champion in 5 years or less."
That's it, man.
And it was 4 years, 4 months, and 14 days.
That's it.
When I stepped in the ring, now remember, I said to him, "I can't be you or Rick or Hulk." And Dust ain't wrestling, but Stinger was.
That's it.
And Sting's in the ring, Rick's in the ring,
Yep.
and Hulk's in the ring. And I walk out the world champion. So, I mean, I kind of saw it and didn't even realize it. And Nature Boy put me over right in the middle. And when I went in the Hall of Fame, I wanted him to know how much I appreciated that. And I thanked him and tell him how much I knew it put me one step closer to that Hall of Fame, podium that I was standing in front of. And that weekend when it was over, Nate saw me heading to the elevator. "Diamond," he called me over, he was having a drink. And he said, "What time are you flying out tomorrow?" I said, 7:30. He's like, "What?" He goes, "I got the Learjet, I got the limousine. You and Brenda," I was married to Brenda back then, and you're coming home with me. And I was like, "Nate, I got all these bags. I'm like the Griswolds." He's like, "I don't want to hear it. FedEx them home. You're coming home with me. You're a Hall of Famer now." And then when he found out it was my birthday, we took us out to dinner. I mean, it was a magic week, that it's everything that I talk about is about work ethic. If you put the work in inside this ring, it says work ethic equals dreams. Exclamation point, DDP. That's what it says.
And should.
That's what it's about.
That's the core of your value system. And something that we share. And with that, when anybody sees DDP now, they see someone that was an icon and still is in wrestling, a Hall of Famer, right, in every way. But when you went and transitioned into the fitness world that you're in now, and really it's transformation.
No, 100%.
That's really, we put it in the fitness category, but it is transformation.
Right.
You jumped into a world of yoga, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's like, how do you go from this jacked guy, athlete, to jumping into this?
But I didn't jump into it yet.
You got injured, right?
I got injured when I was 42, which was...
tell the story of how you made that transition into
I got
into yoga.
lead up to it, though. Like, I literally, I didn't make... In 1997, 1998, every single guy I worked with, which was on top, and I was on 13 of 24 either semi-main events or main event of the pay-per-view. Yeah. And they all made millions of dollars. I was making $275,000. Now, that's a lot of money. But up till that, I didn't make any money at all. Right. And then for those 2 years over that period, I made that and they made the big scratch. And I just signed the multi-million-dollar 3-year deal when I blew my back out. And they told me, every doctor, 3 different spine specialists, and I went to the best. And they all said the same thing, like, "You're done. Like, you had a great run, but you're done." And I was like, I call it emotional gravity, where you start pulling yourself down. Woe is me, and to my wife, my first wife, I was just talking to her on the way in here today. We're still best friends, and she's one of my partners in our DDPY program. She's like, "You really should try yoga." And I was like, "F that, I ain't doing yoga."
Yeah.
And she kind of bullied me into it.
Really?
And yeah, like, "You'll do anything. You ice your body when no one else did. You do chiropractic, you do this, you do this, you do that. And you're not going to try yoga because your ego?"
But Dallas, think about it. I'm going to ask you this. In that moment when the doctors told you that, with your mindset the way it is, did you really believe it? Was there a moment?
The first one I didn't. The second one I was skeptical. On the third one, I didn't know how I was going to fix it. So you can't really believe you can do something until you have a plan. It's not just going to happen.
That's right.
Like that movie, The Secret, was pretty amazing because it talked about the power of manifesting dreams into reality. Right. But when they showed the kid in the bedroom and he just wants a red bike and he wants a red bike and he rides a red bike, and one day he opened the door and there's a red bike there, that's the most BS story I ever heard. Like, now if you tell me he got up every morning back when we grew up and he got on his old rickety bike and delivered papers,
Right.
and his dad
Then-
said, you earn half the money and I'll give you the other half.
And all of a sudden there's a pretty red bike.
Yes.
Then that's the story.
Then they got me.
Yeah.
The secret left the secret out. You got to work for it.
It's the work ethic.
So I got a rant there on that because I thought of
all right.
that.
It's good.
But what did you say right before that?
No. It's all. What I'm asking you is on the third time the doctor.
Oh,
they gave
right.
you the
Okay.
third
Okay.
opinion.
The third time.
Because your mindset is, and I'm in the same vein. It's like you tell me no, I'm going to figure out a way to do it. Tell me no. Like I beg you to tell me no that I can't.
But all the things they said to me made so much sense why I couldn't.
From the anatomy to
Right.
everything.
Yeah,
right,
everything, And I had 6 months. Because if I didn't get back in 6 months, that contract started diminished rapidly.
Right.
And
So Brenda suggested yoga.
not Brenda, Kimberly.
Oh, Kimberly
My first
did.
wife.
Okay.
My first wife. And I went down there, and the VHS tapes. A guy named Brian Kess, who's like the Hulk Hogan in yoga.
Right.
Today he's my buddy.
Yeah.
But back then, he was a VHS tape guy that I went through 7 videos. I'm like, no. That guy, okay. But man, everybody's like Gumby. And there was no modifications.
Right.
So it was frustrating, but I was feeling results because I was figuring out the modification. I will always figure something out. Right. And within 3 weeks, I started to feel a significant difference, and I was figuring out all the modifications. And then I just started, I'm doing rehab too, and I rehab both shoulder surgeries, both knee surgeries. So I know a lot about, at that point, fixing myself. And the back was brand new territory for me, though, because I never had back issues. And when Nash powerbombed me, it wasn't that powerbomb, because Nash took care of me as good as anybody can.
Yeah.
But it was a straw on the camel's back that went, and now that spine that God gave us, it's so amazing. They put the little discs in between the vertebrae. They're like shock absorbers. Well, there's only so many times you can fall down, and then it's like stepping on jelly donut.
Yeah.
So that made sense too. Like, wow, I'm bone on bone. I can't even bend my back, and sitting down is killing me. And my body was hurting so bad that I didn't really know. And then when I started doing those yoga tapes, it started to help. And I was like, wow, okay, this makes sense now. Now, what if I mix it with that rehab
That you
I'm
were
doing
doing at the same
For
time?
you, because if you go to rehab, they're going to give you a position.
Yep.
And then they're going to give you another position.
Right.
And then they're going to give you another position.
That's it.
When what they should be doing is creating a flow, because that's how you're going to do a lot more than just start to strengthen. You're going to start strengthening the muscles, ligaments, and tendons, as opposed to just that whatever move they have you doing. And you're going to build cardio, and you're going to start feeling better, and you're going to start getting confident. And that's what my program, number one thing, it gives you confidence. I don't care where you
100%.
are,
Yep.
what you start. Arthur Borman is the greatest testament ever that my stuff is real and it works. So once I started to mix the yoga positions, you'll never hear me say posture or pose. I'm an athlete. I know how to play a position and get in a position. Don't tell me to get in a pose. Again, I get it, because I respect yoga big time today. I taught all kinds.
Been around for a long time,
right.
too. Yeah.
But
yeah.
you know what? There's better than and there's less than. Eric Bischoff taught me this.
Yep.
And anything that's not the best is less than the best, unless you're different than.
That's good.
when people call my stuff yoga,
Yeah.
I get hot.
Yeah.
I'm not mad hot, but don't call my stuff yoga.
Because it's
unless
your own.
your name
'cause
is,
it's here.
instead of Bill, is Bob.
Yeah.
You want me to call you Bob?
Right.
Then I'll call you Bob, because it's branding. I don't want to be put in the box with all the yogis over there, because what they're doing is amazing.
For sure.
But it's not what I'm doing.
Right.
I've created something different. I've created something with tone and attitude. In less than 3 months, with what would become DDP Yoga, I call it DDPY, branding it that way now, mainly because I want people to stop calling it just yoga. That's the main reason. Right. Because DDP Yoga, if people call it that, I love that, because that's a brand.
Right.
the inner brand. It's kind of like, this little diamond up here. People will know in 5 years what that diamond means.
That's right.
Because there's no other diamond like that anywhere. So, and I want people just to know, because I don't want them to think, oh, he did yoga, he did this. No, I didn't do that. I did this over here, and in less than 3 months, I was back in the ring. Now I got to go.
That's the key. That's what I want to hear.
That I go to see Dr. Andrews, who in this town is the guy when it comes to spine surgery, or just being the guy for the back. And when I went in to see him, he was like, how did you do this?
Right.
Because I could put I wasn't doing it 20 minutes. I started out 20 minutes a day, 2 times a day. Then I went to 3 times a day. Then I went to 30 minutes. And I built up to 3 hours a day. That's my job.
Yeah, no doubt.
It's the only job I have.
That's it, man.
When Arthur Borman was doing it, he built up to an hour in the morning, an hour at night,
awesome.
5 days a week. And on the other days, he still did it, but didn't do it twice a day.
Right.
But 5 days a week, he did twice a day. He wanted to walk again. I want to get back in the ring and beat my body up more.
That's it.
I
know, yeah, but
because
still,
I want to live the
career.
dream.
Right.
I want to live the dream longer.
Right. And you want to max it as long as you can.
Yes, I want to do this as long as I could, at the level I was doing it. So when
what
Andrew,
age were you then at this time?
42, when I blow my back out.
And at that time, were you somebody in their run, the oldest one to win a certain title?
Well, I'm about to win the world title at 43. At 42, they said my career's over. 43, I'm the world champ.
That's it, man.
I am the oldest guy ever to be awarded, because that's what it is, be awarded that title.
Right, of course.
But I earned it. And
Everybody.
I mean, Sting's in the ring, Hulk's in the ring, and Rick, the Nature Boy, Flair are in the ring.
Right.
And Rick takes the finish in the middle. Like, you can't have a better moment. 2 years earlier, Randy Savage takes a diamond cutter in the middle of the ring. It changed my life in the world of professional wrestling. And my career went through the roof. And it was an unbelievable ride.
But yoga, at that time, that's what it was, brought you back.
Yoga got me.
The concept of yoga.
They
and
got
you
me
doing
involved.
Right.
It got me involved, and I started feeling a difference.
And you
for
created the two together.
And then I just mixed this fusion. Like anybody who sees what I do, there is no way that it's what they thought it was.
No, it's not. Because when we did it together, I'm completely blown up. I mean, I work out 6 days a week, train like an animal, and I'm shaking like a kid. My arms are shaking. My legs were shaking.
But let's stop there, because you tried to stick with, because I told him to do modifications. I told him to do the modifications.
And I tried to go full bore.
Right, he tried to go full bore.
But anybody, though, can do this.
Yeah,
DDPY,
anybody.
it starts you out in these small levels. And it doesn't matter what your baseline is for even doing this. If you've never done it, if you're overweight, underweight, whatever, if you're 95 or if you're 15, it starts you out at a level that you can progress to. And the great thing about it is the confidence you're talking about is that you always feel like you're winning. Every time I was done doing a session, I felt stronger. I felt...
And you're talking about one of the strongest cats on the planet.
But I did, though. But all my connective tissue, everything felt solid, and my core, everything about it, which is amazing. So I can only imagine, not just for your average person, but for the elite athlete, incorporating that into their life. For someone that's in their 80s that is losing mobility, one of the best things that you can do. And now, within a place that we are with the situation that we're in and this time we're in, having something you can do at home through a screen or a video is one of the best systems that I've ever seen.
I have to share. This morning, my sister sent me a video of my niece Lexi. Now she's 27, and she teaches yoga.
Yeah.
And bottom line is that she's in Florida, and her boss, she's been working for him for 2 years. For 4 years, he's been doing DDPY. He sent the video to Lexi. Lexi sent it to her mother. She sent it to me. And he's showing her how to do the bed flex workouts.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and she's 83.
Right.
And she had trouble getting up just on the table, so he kept her on her forearms and moving back and being on your back and just getting movement. For someone who is immobile, And I'm not talking about standing on one leg. I'm talking about laying on your back and your legs fall to the side.
Right.
And then you pick your foot up here. Whatever it is, whatever you can do, DDPY meets you where you are.
Yep.
And that's the beauty of the program.
It is. So answer this for me, okay? From who you were at 15 to the wrestler at 40 to the guy sitting right here. Right?
At 6 months from 65.
Come on, man. Come on, man. No, really.
Yeah.
For all those stages, sum up in one statement, who is Dallas?
It'll have to be a whole statement. And I said this 12 years ago when someone said, where's Dallas Page in 5 years? This is 12 years ago I said this. I said, Diamond Dallas Page is the new Jack LaLanne meets Tony Robbins meets straight Richard Simmons. And I said, I love Richard Simmons.
So we need the band. We need the deal. Yeah.
I love Richard Simmons.
He's
I thought
great,
he was an
man.
amazing
really,
cat.
Yeah, for sure.
But
he was different.
he was different then.
Different.
Big time.
And brought
and
that.
he helped a lot of people.
A lot.
A lot of people. And a lot of big people. And so have I.
Yeah.
But I told him back then, 12 years ago, I said, at some point, I honestly believe that DDPY is going to dwarf my wrestling career.
I agree.
But he at the time said, it's not over yet. It's still going to be another 4 years. It took 8 years for DDPY to become an overnight success. 8 years of nothing but little sales here and there, little people investing, but I kept following with so many people. And I was $548,000 in my own money before I ever made a dime. Never, and so I just had to keep believing. It's so important. I don't care what you're doing. It's so important to keep believing, because never underestimate the power you give yourself by believing in you. And that's really what my whole, my whole mission statement is, to get people to believe in themselves. They don't have to win the world title. They just got to be able to get themselves up, especially in these days.
And
man.
that is their world title
Yeah.
for a lot of people.
You're right.
To make it through this day
Right.
with no pain.
Right.
To make it through this day where I might not have to take my medication.
Right.
Right? Because my body's to the point where I don't need it anymore. To get through this day where my mind is clear and I'm not sad and I do believe in myself. So the word that Dusty sat you down and shook you with and said, what in the world are you even here for?
Right, like
Is
if you
the
don't
same-
believe it, don't believe it.
But here's the thing, though. That one moment
Yeah.
is the message that you're carrying with this every single day.
Bro,
what
that's
Dusty
powerful.
spoke into you
That's powerful.
was what we call a word.
Right.
He spoke a word into you.
Right.
And you've taken that, if anything, you've taken from Dusty.
Right.
He poured that into you that day. It changed the trajectory of your career. It put you in a position to have a voice. And now that voice you're taking right now, and you're taking to millions and millions and millions. And really, I believe it's going to transform people around the globe. That one word that he poured into you is what changed Arthur.
Mm-hmm.
That one word that he poured into you is what built this place.
Right.
That one word is what's going to transform millions, man.
And that's
If
really
not
powerful.
billions.
I've never thought of it like that. And that is, you're a smart cat. Like, that's really insightful, because I didn't realize it. But that's the moment. That's the moment where I went, you're right. Because I always believe in myself when no one else did.
That's right.
But when you keep getting beat down, it's hard. But you got to be relentless. We have a new documentary coming out. I believe I sent it to you, right?
did, yeah.
It's pretty amazing,
It's
right?
amazing, yep.
It'll be out on Amazon Prime probably around the middle of December. And it's a journey from Kev hit me with a power bomb, me blowing my back out, and the journey we go on. And what's really amazing, Steve Yu, who's my business partner,
Great
and
guy.
one of the smartest human beings that I know, that really gets what we're doing. Like, way from the early, Steve Yu, who literally was going to Cornell, top of his class, got recruited by IBM, working, he'd probably be running IBM right now.
No doubt.
But that's not what he wanted to do. So he quit, self-taught, like everything to do with filming.
Right.
Like, he's the best storyteller. If you haven't seen The Resurrection of Jake the Snake, you have to go on Amazon Prime and pull it up. It's not about wrestling.
No.
It's about 3 wrestlers. If it would have been about 3 golfers or 3 rock and roll stars, we'd have cleaned up at the Oscars.
sure.
For a documentary. But it was about 3 wrestlers. But it was the second highest rated documentary on Netflix when it was on.
No doubt.
People love it because it's dark. It's about addiction, but it'll make you laugh, it'll make you cry, and it'll inspire you.
And bring
Jake.
hope. Jake's that guy.
Jake will.
I mean,
Jake will take you right here and
Yeah, he will.
take you on this journey, man. That's amazing, and we did it together. And it was, I think, up till now, it's besides Arthur, in this world. I inspired one guy to believe in himself. He inspired millions.
That's it.
And that Jake's resurrection, because to know who Jake is today, 8 years being sober, and the fog is lifted from him, and where he's at today in his life, like, I never dreamed that was possible. I never dreamed it, and yet it happened, and I couldn't be any prouder of him, and it proves everything that we do. Just like in Relentless. When you see Relentless, I mean, you can't talk, and I heard some people, well, you're really talking about the program a lot. Like, if you talk to Steve Jobs, you hear about one thing.
That's it.
Apple.
That's it.
With me, you hear about wrestling, and you hear about DDPY. That's what I'm passionate about. That's what I do. When people say, so what do you do when you're off? I go, besides disconnecting and watching some show
Right.
that I think is good, or, going on a hike with my girl or whatever, I'm never stop working.
Never stop.
Because I'm never working.
Constant.
Are you working?
Because always. I'm not working,
No,
but
I'm
I'm
saying,
always on. I'm either
but are
checking,
you
I'm helping
working?
somebody.
Are you working at something you don't want to do?
Never.
Right.
I'm living my passion.
Right.
Right. You're living your calling, really, is what it is. And the cool thing about it is, one thing about Dallas is interesting is with you, we were hanging out at his house, and he's just scrolling through Facebook. And this girl is trying to do this move, and she's posting, and he's like, her name was Jan or something.
Stephanie.
Yeah, Stephanie. So Stephanie's, she's trying to do this move, right?
And so she sweeps
got
her
it.
legs.
Right, she's got the wrong sweep. He's like, no. I just need to call her. And he just hits it, and he's like, Stephanie, this is Dallas. She's like, oh my gosh. And he's like, hey, sweetheart, look, I'm going to send you a little clip of me doing this the right way. You've got to bring your leg in. Who does that? Okay, no, really, who does that except someone who, when you talk to him 24/7, is always ready to help someone. And here's the thing. What I love about you is a lot of things I love about you, bro. That's why I'm your friend, and
Appreciate
that's why I'm grateful for our friendship.
That's why you're here.
No doubt. But I'm grateful for that. But one thing I love so much about you, man, is your love and your heart for people. Like, you really genuinely love people. And I think it says a lot. Like, you look at something like The Resurrection of Jake the Snake, you look at the film, and people think, oh, that was a production, and they're doing this thing. You're the guy that he called in his darkest moment. You're the guy that said, I won't give up on you, when everybody else said, you're done.
And with to everyone's deal, like Jake, he was done, but there was that there was that one little glimpse of light.
The sliver.
But you also have to understand that I don't have any of this without Jake, because if he doesn't take me under his wing, because I talk about Dusty and how he took me under his wing. That was for all the business and just the mental stuff that we worked on together, and he helped me with. And he wasn't trying to do anything but help his buddy that he liked and he appreciated my work ethic. Jake, same thing. Jake, but it was in the ring work, what he did in the ring. What he did on the business end wasn't anything like what he did in the ring. If I'd have known Jake earlier, I think, Jake should have been like a 5-10 time world champion. But they couldn't, because of the booze and the pills and the drugs, and they couldn't count on him. And he knows that. In his Hall of Fame speech, when he thanked me for going in there, it was super powerful. Super powerful. But he said I wasted a lot of it. I had a lot of talent and I wasted a lot of it. And I'm sorry I did, But, you saw some of it. But what we saw was genius.
It is.
He's just, I don't think, on my Mount Rushmore, Jake Roberts. He's up there.
He is.
He was up there.
The
So
ability
is
to
Dusty.
tell a story and to grab emotion in the audience.
Right.
Nobody better.
Yeah,
the guy can just do it.
Yeah,
But I want to say this though, you're putting him over and you're sitting there talking about how great he is, and he is, and he has that ability. Thing about you that I just want to say that, and why I think DDPY is so great and why it's going to help so many people, man, is because it's not a work.
No,
in wrestling speak, it's called a work. It's not a production. It's not a show. It's not. He's one way here, and then behind closed doors is different. It's who he is, and I say that because it's important to understand when you really care about people and you want to help them, that it does come from here, and they feel it. See, Jake can make people feel in the ring whatever was happening. I mean, to the point where you're ready to step, get up, scream, cuss, throw something, cheer, whatever, more than anybody.
Yeah.
You pull that out of someone, you pulled that. So Jake did that to the audience, you did that to Jake. And look where he is now. He's alive.
He's doing great.
He's doing great. His attitude's amazing. He's got his life back.
He has been reborn.
Right.
And
And
through
for
belief
all
in
practical
himself.
purposes of that, yeah.
Belief in himself, man.
And so that's what people need more than ever. And so with DDPY, that's why I want DDPY to be a part of what we're doing, because I want to see everybody within you that watch the show constantly, that are part of everything that we do here in my world, to jump into DDPY. Maybe you've tried yoga, but I really want you to actually step in, because you're not just stepping into DDPY, a system, a DVD, an online platform that you do in your house. It's not just something that you turn on and turn off. It's a core system of who you are.
It's a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle that I teach as well, that can be a part of your daily routine, that can impact your life, that will impact your life. And hey, the great thing is it's not age dependent, and that's what I love about it. Because everybody, because when look, we've got a coach and we've got a coaching system. We coach people all over the country. And the biggest thing, so this is why I love it. We're going to start implementing this. The one thing I hear more than anything is it's cold outside, it's raining, we can't get outside and walk, I don't have any exercise equipment. Like, you get all these
Can't.
I can't be world champion. I can't be Ric Flair. I can't be, right?
Can't
so it's
do
the
it
same
yet. That's the word.
So it's the same
Yet.
thing, right? We're back to that. So now there's something that there's no excuses. And if you don't even need a mat, you can have carpet, right? It's like,
Well, you start in bed. If you're in that bed spot, you start in bed, you start in a chair. Let me just share with you that you said that it's not age dependent. Today I'm doing my new workouts, and they're called DDPY Jacked. And they're all surrounded around blood flow restriction, BFR training. Look it up. BFR training is all they do now at the rehab centers that know what they're doing.
Right.
Like, the top doctor in the world is probably Dr. Andrews, right?
Yep.
All the top athletes, they get hurt, they go to Andrews. The number one
He did my knee.
Oh, there you go. The number
knee.
one PT guy down there is Kevin.
Yep.
And Kevin is using our straps down there in Birmingham. But this is the beautiful thing about the program we did today. And we're all wearing, some are wearing straps on the arms, some wearing straps.
I did them with you.
Yeah, but I'm talking about when we're working out today.
Yeah.
Some are wearing straps on the arms, just arms. Others are working arms and legs. Some are just wearing legs. Here's the group that was out there today. On my left was Harold Hogue, who was ice trained with WCW, his son, who's 19 and goes to Morehouse, and he's the best runner on the team. He's the guy, he sees himself in the Olympics. He's 19.
That's on his goal sheet.
That's on his goal sheet. That's on his goal sheet. His goal sheet is insane, and I love that it's insane. Awesome. Next to him is Rick Steiner's son, Scotty Steiner's nephew, Bronson Steiner, and he's 240 and just twisted steel and sex appeal. I mean, he's going to be a big star in professional wrestling. Next to him is my girl Paige. She's 46 and just a warrior. Super, those
amazing,
athletes
man.
that run 100 plus
Yeah,
miles.
that's
She doesn't do it anymore, but she did it for 12 years.
Yes.
Next to her is Ted Evans, who's 86 and just got done having a second knee replacement.
Wow.
And he's doing the modifications that he needs to do for this workout. And sometimes I'll say, Teddy, just sit out on this part. And he's like, yeah, right. And he keeps going. And then me at 6 months from 65. So it goes from 19 to 86 in one workout. That's a kick-ass workout.
Hit it big time.
This workout was a kick, and they're not like that. They're from laying in bed to this workout. But to have that crew, and someone said it to me, like, dude, you got to start putting up the age diversity that you've got out there because people don't realize.
It's a huge deal because you can do it with your kids, right? The kids could be
Right.
doing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it can make them better for whatever athletic endeavor they're in
Yep.
or just life. But somebody that's 90 that's got mobility issues, I mean, that's a massive deal. You lose your mobility, you start to lose your quality of life in a big way. And
That's the biggest thing.
there's
I feel
nothing
see,
better
man.
that can bring it back. And I mean, I never did yoga, okay, until I got with him and did DDPY. So this is my first exposure to it, really. And I got to tell you, I never felt better the day after
Right.
in the gym.
Right.
Right. I lifted more weight. I was stronger because all my connective tissue, my ligaments, my tendons had been hit in a way that I'd never done before.
Right. Right.
So I felt stronger in my core, and I think that's really important. So from mobility to flexibility to quality of life, I mean, I just think it brings everything.
And it's my passion. We do workshops here occasionally, and then we'll do an open house where people can come in, and back before COVID, right?
Yeah, right.
And one of my favorite, I had about 70 people in here, and and I get up there and I talk about it and do a couple little demonstration things, and then I answer questions, and then people who came who just wanted to get some pictures, pictures, I do it. So people line up, and there's this one guy in his 70s standing over there. He was watching me the whole time, right? And get done, and he comes walking up after the last person. He came up, he shook my hand, he said, I came here today to prove that you are full of.
Right.
And he said, I got to shake your hand. You proved me wrong. I'm getting that DVD, that rebuild, and I'm going to do it, And that was, when you could take someone, because I'm not trying to sell anybody. I don't care if you do my stuff or not.
Right.
The number one place I tell people to go, don't listen to me, or even you for that matter.
For sure.
That Facebook site, that it's not ours. This is a community.
It's self-put together, right? The community put it together.
Right. It's members.
That's when you know it's organic.
It's got, and if you want to check it out, it's you'll know because it's DDP Yoga, one word, and just like this, and it's got like 53,000 people that they're on there, and it's the most helpful, loving, caring, no judgment place. Because it's so amazing. I always have Motivational Mondays on the app, but now it's every Friday. It's fabulous Facebook Fridays. And just last night I got to get this done today because we got to get it up there, right? And I just looked at the first 4 people and I read all their things, and then I talked about it afterwards, and I was I was blown away, during when I was doing it. I was just like, this thing that, that I started just to heal myself.
It became a journey that has now healed millions. Think about that. And it's going to heal people globally. It's just begun. This overnight success thing, it's not, it's just started.
No, I
This
believe
whole
it.
thing for you has just started. Because we're in a time now where your health's your greatest wealth. I say it all the time. No one can do this for you. Your mama can't do it for you. Your dad can't do it for you. Kids, your coworkers, your family members. No one can take responsibility for your health but you. And the one message that people don't want to hear a lot of times with their health, it's why we're a pill-driven society and we want a pill to fix it, is that you have to put the work in.
Right.
So with your health, it's up to you. It's your responsibility. It's our responsibility every single day. DDPY helps you own that.
Right.
And that's what I love about it, because I can get someone, Dallas, to eat grilled chicken or grilled fish. and cut out the French fries and the burgers. Like, I can get someone to do that.
Right.
The exercise and the self-discipline that comes with that, and the belief that you can do that and get better, that's the part that's a hard sell. That's the part that's hard to move people toward.
And that's why I love my program.
And that's
because
why what you
they
do
can start wherever
works.
they are. DDPY meets you where you are. And the number one thing that I hear, like I said earlier, we build confidence.
Yeah, you do.
And we actually just trademarked this, which I couldn't believe we got. We can rebuild you. Like
That's
$6 million
solid.
man.
And that is,
we can rebuild you.
Because you've done it.
Yeah. I've
You
done
did
it
it
to
to
me. I've
yourself,
helped.
Arthur, and then it just took off from
Yeah,
there.
so
Jake?
many people. We
That's
can
really
rebuild
good.
you.
That's
you know?
really good.
And then you get, and through that comes the confidence.
It does.
And Jake was the first one to make me aware of it. Like, I knew what it did for me, but I didn't really felt like I was a confident guy. But for him, in interviews, when he was staying at my house and starting that journey, the resurrection of Jake the Snake, he would, say during the interview, like, yeah, it gives me, the biggest thing I love about it, gives me confidence. And one day I pulled him aside and I go, what do you mean it gives you confidence? He goes, come on, you kidding me? He's like, when I started, I was 307 pounds. He said, when I lost that first 10 pounds, that was a huge win for me.
Massive.
And he
Yeah.
said, I ain't had a win in 20 years.
Right.
And then when I lost 20 more, like, wow. And then you showed me how to use the chair, and I couldn't get up and get down, even using the chair without, I said to him the first time, and we were doing something, I said, okay, now just go to the ground. And he got about here, and then he just threw himself on the ground. I go, what the hell are you doing? He said, you said go to the ground. I said, and I didn't say fall on the ground. But that's the only way he could get down.
That's it.
And he was a wrestler, so that's how you get to the ground. Like, wow. One of the things I'm so proud of is I help people learn how to go from standing and get to the ground and get back up again. And it's a simple thing that I figured out, and I teach them all it.
But that's the key. I think you just said it. You help people in their own life to get back up again.
Get back up again.
Because at the end of the day, everybody gets knocked down. At the end of the day, life is going to knock you down. It's
Right.
not
Especially
if.
now.
It's not if, it's when. And I
Right.
think everybody feels that at different points of their life. You're going to get knocked down, and you need something that can help you get back up again. And for a lot of people, they choose the wrong things to try to help them, and it never brings them up.
Right.
But I think, man, what you've really tapped into, Dallas, is you've become, and really, in my world, it's what people look to me for the same way. It's that hand that reaches down, and no matter what, no matter who you are, no matter how much you struggle with anything, it's that trusted, safe hand that says, look, man, you can get back up again, and you
Right.
pull them up.
Yeah, let me help you. Come
That's
on.
it.
You
Come
can do
on.
it.
You can do it. And the thing is, the conversation Dusty had with you, that was it.
Yeah, man.
That was
Never
it.
thought about that. One thing he did for me too is he's the first guy to really believe in me, not as a wrestler, as a promoter, as a production guy, as a person,
man.
as a character who could talk, as just a character in the business. But he never saw me as a wrestler. And then when they wouldn't let me wrestle, or they wouldn't let me manage guys anymore and talk for them, Magnum TA had come up to me and he's like, Diamond, we can't let you manage guys anymore. I'm like, why? What did I do wrong? And he's like, the hair, it's not your fault. I go, what do you mean it's not my fault? Why can't I do it? He said, the hair and the clothes and the bling and the rap and the diamond dolls, and like nobody's paying attention to the wrestler. So I said to him, I said, TA, are you telling me I'm too over the top for professional wrestling?
Which is
what?
oxymoron. Yeah.
And he said, well, as a manager, yeah. And Scott Hall tried to warn me about it, and I just thought I knew, and I was wrong. He said, what we should have done is put you in a pair of tights and boots and see if you could do this. Now, I got 7 months left on my contract, and I was like, I'm going to that power plant. I didn't get in this business when I was 23, and I tried to wrestle. I had 3 matches in 1979. I didn't get in it to be a manager or a color commentator or a producer or a writer. I got into it because I wanted to be a player. And
whatever that meant.
Right.
At that
I want to
time.
be in the ring. I want to be one of the
on
boys.
the field, man. I want to be on
exactly,
the field.
on the field. And when I went down that power plant, they beat the hell out of me. Because what they're trying to do is run you off. Because if you can't take that, you can't take 274 days on the road. And man, I can't tell you, bro, how many times, because you've hit that, Matt.
Well, actually, yeah. And so when were you at the power plant doing that? What year?
91 to 94.
Okay.
No, excuse me, 95. 91 to 95.
So I did the power plant, and there were 23 people that started on the time I did it. And there were only 2 men standing at the end of that class with Sarge and everybody.
Right.
It was me and Johnny the Bull. And we were the only 2 left at the end of that deal.
But you know.
So I know.
You know.
The throwing up, Johnny, we would go in the back and like puke our guts out. It was nonstop. I couldn't even move. There was 4 days back to back when I did it.
I know it.
And at night I would go in and I would sit in an ice tub. Right? Everybody's doing that now. It's kind of like the thing.
Right.
But then I did it just so I could even move.
Yeah.
So I get it. They try to run you off. It's work ethic. Who's got it?
Right. And it's a little bit of hazing there in the
Total-
beginning. Not so much today.
Total.
But back then there
in
was.
the day, it was
Back
total
then there was.
hazing. Yeah.
And I can't tell you how many times, and you'll appreciate this, at 35 and a half, I hit that mat. And I said, man, this fake stuff hurts like hell. Right? Right?
It does, man.
And I can't tell you how many times I really asked myself, do I really want to do this?
Right.
And that's where every time the answer would come back, yes, yes. And I wrestled for 9 straight months, and then I tore my rotator cuff, and they let me go. And that's where Jake and I got really tight. And he took me on the road with him. And any place I got booked on, that he got booked on, I kind of did for the opening match. And I was out there learning, you know. And then I came back to WCW, and I'll never forget it. Dusty and I hadn't talked in a couple of months. And he was at the power plant, which he never was there. He was the head writer. He was the main guy. And I walked in there, and hey, give me a big hug. And he's like, hey, D, get in the ring with this young kid here. He goes, I want to see what he's got. So I went in there, and, we had 20 minutes, called what I was going to do. And then after that, he goes, that's good. And I got out, and I thought he left, but he's stuck in the office and watched from the monitors after that. And he saw me get one ring after another, and I would take new guys in and just start working with them. And the next day, we had our meeting of what I was going to finally come back to WCW. And I saw myself in a whole different position, but nobody else did. So Dusty, we came in, we did all the, how's the wife, blah, 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 all that. And then he goes, so what you got? And I gave him this idea I had. And he said, D, I know you always seen yourself as a top performer in our business. But I got to be honest with you, D. I never saw it until yesterday. He said, I don't know how the hell you got so much better. He said, whatever you're doing, you need to keep doing it because you just might pull it off. And he started to give me a good push those first 4 weeks. And then Eric Bischoff sent Dusty out to pasture, which means he's still getting paid not to work. They don't want him to go to New York with WWF, but let's just put him out to pasture until we need him. And new booking committee came in, and my push went stage left and didn't come back for years. And I would always go down that power plant every day. There's no one who made the team on the squad, if they made it, ever went back to power plant.
Never.
Except for Steven Regal. And really, that's the only guy I can really think of. Mark Merrow did. Merrow did, but not like me. I was there every day. I was the first to come. I was the last to leave. I was setting the precedent. Like, you're not going to deny me. And I'm going to outwork you. I'm going to prove I belong here.
That's it, man.
And again, my dream wasn't to being a world champion or a Hall of Famer there. It was just, no, I belong here.
Yep.
And I'm going to prove it to you. Rudy, who's become a really good friend of mine, the Rudy.
One of the best stories
Ever,
man.
But you want to know something that's really interesting since I've gotten to know him? The story that you get to see of him going through all his knockdowns and get back up, and I'm going to play for Notre Dame. Like, what? What are you smoking? You know? You see him get there, and he has that, that one big play where he sacks the quarterback from Georgia Tech, and they carry him off on his shoulders.
Amazing.
All that's real.
Yeah.
The real story, the real unbelievable challenge, let's just think about what he did. He played on a practice squad, okay?
At the end of the day.
He had two plays. Joe Montana played on that team. And you want to make a movie about that guy and not Montana?
And
like, what are you
why?
talking?
Right.
Well, it wasn't about the sack. It made the story unbelievable because it's true. It wasn't about the sack, though. It was about the journey.
The journey of him.
Right, that got to the sack.
That's it.
But the real journey is he got that movie made. And that he ever got that movie made. I lived in Hollywood for 12 years.
You know it.
I know.
The doors that
I
can-
know how hard it is to get a movie made. You want to see a great movie? If you've never seen it, watch Rudy. Like one of the most inspiring movies ever. Wall Street Journal did a top 20 movies of all time, football movies. Rudy, number one.
Number one.
I mean, and he made that happen. And right now, I've been working with Rudy. I flew out to Vegas. He saw the video of Arthur. And he called one of our guys who works here, a former Green Beret, Roman Rosel. And Roman had sent, because he works here, he sent Rudy the video. Rudy called him right back. He goes, I have to do this. I'm 72 years old. My body's killing me. I'm 60 pounds overweight.
That's it.
I need to do this. He goes, I'll call you back. He calls me. I said, give me his number. I call him back. He doesn't know me from Adam, but he knows that video he just saw of Arthur Borman. And so I said, Rudy, will you really put the work in? Because if you put the work in, bro, like you're one of my favorite people in the world. You just don't know that.
You don't know it.
But I know you're a lot of people's favorite people in the world.
That's it.
And that's what's made him the Rudy story so amazing. And Rudy's been to see the president. The bottom line is that I said, okay, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna send you ever see The Resurrection of Jake the Snake? He goes, no, I haven't. I said, I'm gonna send it to you. Call me after you see it. He calls me back and he's in tears. And I said, now I'm gonna send you Relentless. And he calls me back, he's like, oh my God. And still doesn't know about my wrestling career, because only little splashes of that.
Right.
But he sees who I am as a person. And then I said to him,
that's it.
I said, I gotta send you Genetic Roulette, which is all about the food. Because if I'm gonna work with you, you need to understand you're gonna tell yourself what to eat, not me.
Right.
And bottom line is, he called me back, he goes, man, I didn't even know. I said, can you get out here for a week? And he said, no, I'm too jammed up. I got to be home for the next 8 days because my kids, blah, blah, blah. I said, will you be home? Can I come and see you for 3 days? He goes, you're going to come see me? I said, me and my business partner, Steve Yu, my girlfriend, Paige, will be there in 3 days. He goes, come on. And that's how it started, man. And Rudy will be the face of the DDPY rebuild program because he's already done unbelievable in the 7 weeks. He's down 22 pounds, but forget that. His mobility is like off the charts from where he was.
And he's 72.
72.
So
beat up 72.
Beat up 72. And he's going to inspire the 82s, the 92s who think
100%.
it's over. Right? But then also his story is going to grab the 30s, 40s, 50s, all of us.
Everybody. Anybody who's seen that movie, this is Rudy.
But still, though, it's interesting how that came together because
Crazy.
It is the essence of your backstory, and it's the essence of DDPY.
Right.
And where this whole thing's going to go. I want to close with something. I want you to look at the audience, and I just want you to talk to them just for a second. If you could leave everybody in this interview with one thing, one closing thought, one statement that they can walk away with from Dallas Page, what would that be?
Well, it'll be some of what I just said. And the most important thing is you really have to start to want to do it. Nike made billions of dollars with 3 words: just do it. And never underestimate the power. If you're watching this and you want to help somebody do this, some member in your family, never underestimate the power you give someone by believing in them. It's so powerful. You heard me talk about Dusty and believing in me, and Jake, and believe me, it gave me an inner power. Made me feel like a superhero. So if you're watching this and you're thinking about your grandmother, your grandfather, your dad, your mom, whatever, bring it to them. Show them the Arthur video and make them believe that it's possible. Because once they feel that, then they'll really understand that really the most powerful of all is never believe the power you give yourself by believing in you. And it's all about belief. And
Yes, that's good.
you know, that's the message, belief. And put the work in. It's really not that hard,
That's the hashtag.
you know?
It's not that hard.
It's not that hard.
Bro, I got to tell you, it's great to call you friend.
No, I love you, bro.
I love you too, man. Let's do this right here.
Open
We're
those
gonna
fingers,
We're
open those
We're going
fingers.
to close this thing out.
Open those
okay?
fingers.
We're going to close it out. When you start with DDP, when you hang with this guy, there's one thing you'll always feel in your life. And what is that? You'll feel the
Bang!